This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Lucinda Harman. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
Yeah, morning to you. It is a rather beautiful day. Can you believe we're already in February, already in 2019?
Oh my, oh how the time flies when you're having fun. Oh, how it flies. What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Johannesburg in South Africa.
Ooh, tell me which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
Well, it was Jules White that you interviewed, and then she wrote a post on LinkedIn, and she wrote about 3 people that have inspired her, and you and I happened to be in the same post. And she was talking really about my whole pathway to TEDx, my dream of TEDx, and kind of that kind of thing, my motivational speaking, my inspirational speaking that I do, as well as from a sales perspective, how I've brought in I bring in a very different kind of spin into sales. And that's how you found out about me and I found out about you.
Ooh, so yeah, let's talk about the sales. How do you bring a different spin into that?
When I started doing sales, I did it very much the convincing kind of sales. It was hardcore, a lot of persuasion, using a lot of will, using a lot of my energy. And actually, I used to just burn out, because if you're working from that kind of energetic level, you really are just drilling incredibly hard, and it's a hard fight all the time and slog. And when I went back to sales, I took a bit of a break and I went back to sales. I realized, and it was also after actually meeting Jules, and we were discussing the difference now in going back to sales is it really was now about a very different thing. It really was about being more human and about the relationships that you're building rather than the hardcore sales that I'd always succeeded in. So I changed the whole way I went about it, and I created a lot about people buying into the fact that they trusted me in my integrity. They valued what I brought. I made sure that I was always well ahead of the pack, that I researched my competitors, and that I could give what nobody else could. And that's how I went about it. There was, literally, I stopped needing to try and sell anything, but just because of who I was and people wanted me to be around and they wanted to see me often, they bought into the product. Not that the product was standard, but the fact is that the relationship became so strong. And that changed things quite dramatically for me. I mean, I've made in this last company I've been working for huge impact in 7 months. And people can't believe it. And it was all because I had spent the time and energy really building up solid foundations and relationships. Mm-hmm. And I was doing what others weren't doing. So I was doing it from a very different perspective. I never knocked opposition. I never brought an opposition into a conversation. I focused solely on where I was, what I could do, and I sold basically solution. That was it. I sold solution, and I sold the relationship that I had was strong enough that I knew that they were going to buy from me because they valued and trusted me more than they trusted other people. And they could, because I actually was also very sincere, and they could see that I was really committed.
Which is a very important part, right? How would you suggest someone that's entering into a space then? Because it sounds as though the thing that you've done is over time. It's you being a person of integrity over time, not someone that just got in there and said, hey, I do have integrity. How would you suggest someone that's now entering into the space create that type of trust in that they're doing what you're doing, or even just beginning?
I think a lot of it came down. I took 3 years off and I did a sabbatical. I literally, when I lost absolutely everything I owned. Everything I owned a year ago. Last year, I bottomed out completely. And it was over a 3-year sabbatical I took out to find myself, because I realized that I was wearing masks. I wasn't absolutely truthful to who I really was. I wasn't living my life. I wasn't living my life, a purposeful life. I didn't have a dream. Mm-hmm. So in finding all those things, I became extremely real, and I became extremely comfortable in my own skin. And by doing that, then the world around me could see me as one person. And I drive this all the time, is you need to know who you are, and you need to have core values. And those things are very important in business as well in life. Because when you are one person to the world, you're not different people to, all over the place. Somebody sees a different you. People see you as being more trustworthy. They see you as more credible. They see you as being sincere. They trust you. And because I changed so dramatically in my own life and transformed my own life, by the time I came back into the corporate scene or business scene, it was very, very different for me. Because now people love to know, they knew that who I was, presented myself to them was actually who I was. I wasn't being a sweet, smiley, fakey, that's real a sales thing. A lot of people see these cheesy, fakey, kind of syrupy people, but they know that that is not real. And then they don't want to do business, or they feel uncomfortable with that person. But when you are so real and you are so honest and kind of truthful in your presence in front of them, they're absolutely then magnetized towards you, because they realize that your word is absolute. They can trust you. You are not making up stories. You are not being different people. You are just one person, and that person is right in front of them. And integrity is something that is the most valuable thing you never want to lose. I think that is probably one of the biggest things in life, is especially in the medical industry, which I'm in, is there's a lot of unethical, immoral kind of bribery and things that go on. Now, when you've got a lot of integrity and you stand by that integrity, you actually build a huge amount of respect from people in the industry at a very, very fast level. That is what I've done it totally differently. I refuse to play the games. I refuse to do negative stuff. I refuse to get into bribes or buying or doing anything. Who I am is good enough, and that's good enough reason to be buying from me without me taking part. And it's been amazing how I've seen a change in people's mindsets around me because of the way that I go about it. So it's really interesting. And I've been headhunted now on LinkedIn because my LinkedIn profile, people are watching my posts and they're seeing how I interact with my colleagues, and they're seeing my articles, which are very controversial at times. But they are buying, they've fallen in love with a person that they got to know on LinkedIn, and that's why internationally now I'm getting headhunted. And solely because of that, building up that trust, rapport, integrity, and showing people come in and come out, there's still one human being in front of them that they can trust. Yeah.
Well done. Where's the best place for someone to connect with you, Lucinda, who is interested in what you do, what you sell?
Either on LinkedIn, I can't tell you offhand what it's called, but it's my name. On LinkedIn, Lucinda Harman. And then also my Facebook page my own personal Facebook page, Lucinda Harman, is where I do a lot of my motivational, where I really challenge people's mindsets and the conditioning in the world. That's kind of my work as a motivational speaker. And then I've also got Voice Your Power, which I've got a Voice Your Power page and Instagram. And then I have Hidden Voices, which is my group. But that's very much based on my passion within to help other people rise from adversity and from their silence, and especially when they've been discriminated against or outcast, abused, or gone through serious affliction in life. And that's the group where I help people literally to get back up and have faith and believe that they actually can shine again. So those are the platforms that I work on.
Were you born in South Africa?
Born in South Africa, yes.
All right. Well, amazing audience. Again, you're hearing it live from Lucinda Harman. Harman is spelled Harman, for those of you wondering. Lucinda, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me invite you now into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Lucinda, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I was thinking about it actually last night. I think my earliest child memory was outside my sister's school at the age of 4. And I learned how to astral travel right there at the age of 4. And I remember the experience that I experienced. How I got there, I don't know. But it really was about the life that I was in. I had a child that was wrought with abuse, serious abuse. And the only way I could escape was to astral travel. And I somehow learned it at the age of 4 outside the school. And I remember leaving my body that day in the car and actually soaring. It was the most incredible, going to this astral world, and being totally blown away at the age of 4 by another realm, other than the earth. Yeah.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
It saved me. That saved my life, being able to do that. I try not to astral travel too much, and I try to be more physically grounded and be present in my day-to-day. So it's a luxury I don't often go into too much. I'll use it if I know someone's in a lot of despair internationally and they need consoling, and then I will use it to go and console them, and they actually can feel my presence. So I'll use it at odd times, but very, very rarely. So it was something I learned. A lot of people go through quite a lot of practice to try and learn it, but it was a natural thing that just came to me, and it's a place one can escape to, but it is an escapism rather than a reality.
It's like it's been thousands of conversations, and it's really intriguing to me how challenges provide opportunities for growth. And of course, it's painful. And I feel I do sympathize with what you experienced from the abuse. But I just can't let go of the process that I keep seeing happening in my mind over the many conversations I've had where individuals have gone through this level of pain, and then they're connected to something that is the strength of who they are. Your situation is pretty intriguing as well, that you took 3 years sabbatical and now you're back here. It's something like you getting out of it again, but then that in itself, and you said, you bottomed out, right? And but here you are again, and you're strong. I wonder if someone would put that pain purposefully in their life, strategically, to grow, what would then result?
How do you mean someone strategically what? That they go through adversity to grow?
Yes.
Is that the question?
Yes.
I really these days see challenge as opportunity to first start off with. Really, I do. I feel quite blessed, actually, the life I've had, which has been a very, very hard life in many ways. But I wouldn't be the person I'm today, preparing for, to go onto TEDx stage as a Toastmaster, doing the work I do. I could never have done any of what I do today if it wasn't for everything that I had to go through. And in many ways, if you want to have a big kind of exceptional life and impact this world quite dramatically, and be a real change maker and change the world, you're going to have to be an extremely feisty, strong individual. And strong people come from the tough friction, the tough times, the rising and coming back up again. That is what gives you it really, and it sets you away from the pack. It sets you away from other people.
Love that.
Is when you've had to do this, and you never gave up. You didn't die. You didn't curl up and
cry
and wallow in the mud. You no matter what life threw at you, you knew that it was a test and it was a challenge to get through, to make you stronger and be a light and be the courage for others. Others in the world. And you knew that your life had purpose. And I think that was my driving thing that helped me get through, was I knew I had a very set purpose. That's why I was born. So no matter what life is thrown at me, I will do this again and again, because no matter what happens, I'm going to use this to help others.
Well said. Thanks for the integrity. Lucinda, if we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
I don't know if the song was around, but I keep on getting, it's a song that's been in my mind all week, and I've done quite a bit of work on it because I work so much on, and I did a big speech on it, on limits and conditioning. And that song, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of pretty putty, pretty putty, I can't think how to say, but that little song, Little Boxes, I can't remember if it was around at 12 exactly, but it was a song that impacted on me from a young age. Right. And it's how I saw the world. I was always very much an outsider, pretty much an outcast. I never fitted in. I never wanted to fit in. I was very controversial and a nonconformist from a very young age, and that was a song that probably kept me sane. It was that little song.
There we go. All right, Lucinda. Well, we have now arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's going to be yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yep.
Lucinda,
ready.
have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I am busy with it right now because I'm starting my mentorship program at Toastmasters. So I'm going to be looking, and I'm definitely looking for people that want to travel that journey with me as well.
Are you married?
I'm not married.
Do you have children?
No children. I've got two fur kids, two dogs.
There we go. They count. Do you believe in God?
No.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yep, absolutely.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I watch no television. I don't own one.
Wow. What about screen time? The phone and the computer. Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Sure, way less than 8 hours a day. I try and live my life and get out in the real world and interact with people, engage them on a physical level. So probably my worst thing is social media, which I'm cutting down to by a third. And I'm probably on it in total for about 1.5, 2 hours max a day.
Lucinda, if you had to share with us your own unique, real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Lucinda Harman, what would you say that is?
I would say pretty much you only have one life. So don't live with regrets. Find your passion and purpose, and live your days fulfilled and with meaning.
Love it. Lucinda Harman, this was such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Yeah, I mean, just you really do. Like I said, you only have one life, and this is you can wake up every morning and you've got choice. It's either going to be the greatest day of your life or it won't be, and you can choose how you look at life and how you look at everything that life throws at you. And I hope you see it as an opportunity to change and grow. For we're here to change and grow and to learn unconditional love and acceptance for ourselves. That's really the main thing.
Lucinda Harman, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.